All right, we're calling to order the meeting of the Arlington Select Board for Monday, May 18th, 2026. My name is John Hurd. I'm the Select Board Chair. I will let members introduce themselves, starting on my right.
Joe Solomon.
Eric Helmuth.
Diane Mahan.
Steve DeCourcy.
James Feeney, Town Manager.
Michael Cunningham, Town Council.
Ashley Marr, Board Administrator.
All right, the first item that we have on our agenda is introduction of Robert C. Donovan, our Veterans Services Director.
He will be joining us via Zoom, so he's just being promoted as we speak.
That's not him, don't worry. So I gotta do the thing so it doesn't make
Mr. Donovan, if
noise.
you can hear us.
Good evening, Mr.
Yes, I
Donovan.
can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Welcome. If you could just tell us a little bit about your background and introduce yourself to the board.
Absolutely. Good evening, Chair Hurd, members of the Select Board, Town Manager Feeney, members of the Arlington Community. My name is Robert C. Donovan. I'm the newly appointed Director of Veteran Services here in the town of Arlington. Although officially started in late January, as some of you know, I tragically and recently lost a 40-year-old sibling a few weeks into the position. As a result, my start here has been a little bit disjointed, but I need to step away a little bit on bereavement and before recently returning and getting fully acclimated and settled into the role. I truly appreciate the patience and support the community has extended to me during such a difficult time. Just a little bit about myself. I'm originally from the South Shore and attended Cardinal Spellman High School, so I do remember some strong sports competitions against the Arlington Catholic over the years. After attending St. Anselm College in Manchester, New Hampshire, I answered the call to service as the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan escalated in the early 2000s. In 2005, I joined the United States Army as a military policeman. At the time, I thought I was joining to become a police officer, but very quickly I realized traditional police work would have to wait as I deployed to Iraq from 2006 to 2008, and then to Afghanistan from 2009 to 2010 in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom. During nearly 13 years in the Army, served in several leadership and operational roles to include team leader, squad leader, senior military police investigator, platoon sergeant, and senior operations sergeant. Throughout those years, I learned a great deal about the lasting impact military service and deployments can have, both physically and mentally. Toward the end of my military career, I began to recognize the effects of PTSD, as well as traumatic brain injury on my own life. I made the decision to seek treatment and address challenges that had been lingering for years. That experience ultimately changed the course of my life. Once I realized there was a path toward healing, I became passionate about helping others find the emotional courage to seek support themselves, while also reducing the stigma surrounding mental health within the veteran community. Shortly thereafter, I medically retired from the Army after plenty of wear and tear from jumping out of planes and rappelling out of helicopters, and dedicated myself to service in a new capacity. Following retirement, I earned my Master's of Social Work from Simmons University in 2021 before joining the Home Base program, a partnership between Mass General Hospital and the Red Sox Foundation. At Home Base, I worked within the Intensive Clinical Program, which is a 2-week nationwide program helping veterans, service members, and their families heal from the invisible wounds of war. I later became the Special Operations Program Manager, supporting active duty, veterans, and their families and within the Special Operations community. So a lot of work with Navy SEALs, Green Berets, Rangers, and several of the elite fighting forces in our country. After several years in that role, I realized how important it was to bring that experience back into the local community, providing service here in Massachusetts, helping veterans not only in a clinical setting, but within the communities they call home. Throughout every stage of my career, whether in uniform, clinical work, or now municipal service, My mission has remained the same, really continuing to serve veterans, service members and their families with compassion, dignity, and respect. One thing I've already come to appreciate about Arlington is that the community recognizes supporting veterans is simply not simply the right thing to do, just morally, but also it's an investment in the strength of the community itself. Just recently, I just wanted to note, I received a report from the Office of the Veteran Advocate that Arlington's veteran community contributes more than $24 million annually to the local economy, with an estimated 5-to-1 return on investment for the town's support of veteran services and benefits. So that essentially meaning for every dollar spent on the veteran community here in Arlington, Arlington gains $5 in return in economic value. These numbers are pretty astounding considering that only 17% of Arlington's veterans are currently receiving state annuities or federal benefits. So that's definitely an area I'm focused in on, is reaching the masses, bringing multi-generational veterans together and connecting them to services. To me, that reinforces an important point. When we support veterans and their families, we're also strengthening Arlington as a whole. I'm truly honored to have the opportunity to serve the veterans of Arlington and to work alongside this community. I look forward to building relationships, strengthening services, and ensuring our veterans and families know they have the support and advocacy here in town. I'm also very much looking forward to participating in my first Memorial Day event here in Arlington next week and honoring our fallen heroes alongside this community. Thank you again, and I appreciate everyone's time, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, and we certainly extend our condolences to you and your family for your loss. And thank you for choosing Arlington. I should tell you that I am a former AC Cougar, but I was a hockey guy, so I don't think we had any tilts against Cardinal Spellman. But with that, I'll turn to the board for any questions, comments, motions. Is that, oh wait. Mr. Helmuth?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Donovan, welcome to Arlington. We are really lucky to have you. I appreciate your service and grateful for that to the country. I look forward to your service in Arlington. And I just want to note that the things you did in service of our country certainly required courage, but facing your own invisible wounds of war required just as much courage. And I'm full of admiration that you did that you are willing to share your story to help other people, other veterans and in the military community do the same. So I'm thrilled that you've done that. Your social work background is great. I've actually, in my past career, did a little bit of work with Home Base, and I know the folks there. And I know that you're going to bring those experiences to your work in Arlington, and I can't wait to see what you will do. Mr. Chair, you might help me if there's a motion that we make for these, just other
I don't
than
think we need a motion.
No?
just
Okay.
welcome. Thank you.
Move welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Mrs. Mahan?
Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Donovan. I don't have a resume or a CV or any reference materials. Is it just me, or? I was listening very attentively to what you were reading off the screen, but can I get that?
Yes, Ms. Mahan, we'd be happy to share that with the board.
Okay. Only because, welcome, first of all, Mr. Donovan. Thank you for taking this position. Quite a few people had spoken to me during your interview process and then eventual hiring before the tragic passing of your loved one, which I'm very sorry about that. That's another thing that adds to the stress of your life. So, but I did hear, and I was very encouraged by sort of the social work expertise that I sort of gleaned from talking to people that were letting me know who was being interviewed and then with your eventual hire, because I do think that's an important part of the aspect of the job nowadays in terms of our veterans, because we have two distinct groups, those who, would be, I guess, the 65, 70 plus of the 17% that are here in Arlington. But then we have the younger generation, like my husband, Operation Desert Storm, Afghanistan, et cetera. So that's what makes up that 17%. And I think social work is really an important part to that. Sorry, that's throwing me off. And the reason I say that is people have been asking me about a Veteran Services Director because Arlington has really made that the foremost, like all of our major hires. And one of the questions I would ask you is, now that you're on board, one of the efforts that I really grappled with speaking about, that I was very involved with, was 22 by 22, 22 a day. Spoke about it at Veterans Day, and it turned out our former director, I thought maybe he would be a little concerned with me doing that, but it was something that he also had personal experience with. So I think mental health and treating that and recognizing that and helping our veterans deal with that in the way that's appropriate for she or he, them or they. And the reason I asked about your resume or your CV is I just like to have it so I can let people know, because I didn't write anything down that you were saying. But one of the other things people were asking me, and I've been over in the community center a few times, what is, and I understand it's an email world and a text world, et cetera, but for the veterans, when I've been in the Veterans Club that are 65, 70 plus, they were like, what is your position or policy regarding in-office hours?
I appreciate the question, Select Board Member Mahone. Yeah, so Mondays I am remote. I generally tie that to training. It's been a lot of different training. Everyone keeps telling me it takes a year to learn this role. I believe them at this point. So kind of, occupying on Mondays being remote. Tuesday, I'm in office 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Wednesday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then Thursday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Fridays, I am off. Fridays is when I do my clinical work. So that was a part of kind of what intrigued me about this position. I saw 35 hours and I was curious how that works. I'm used to working about 60 hours a week. So, but, it was a good, I was really searching for a good work-life balance. And I think, the director, Ligier, has done a great job kind of accommodating that.
Thank you. That's good to know. And if you could, whatever way, if you agree that you deem appropriate, whether it's when people call your town extension or if it's on the website, if you could let people know, because even though I know the hours, in my position, I'm afraid that if I say the hours, they'll feel like, oh, that's a guarantee. So if you could, whether it's a sign on the door for the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday hours, subject to recognizing there may be a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday that you won't be in the office because you're attending a veterans event or you're in at the State House or, down in Washington, D.C. But whatever way you think is the best way to get out to, especially for our veterans 65 plus, either when they call in, your recorded message or the website or something as easy, because a lot of them are going in to see retirement, which is also on the same floor, and they can just see a little post. That's probably what they'd prefer. And please know I and my colleagues certainly are available, and I think you will see demonstrated over the coming months and years that we all are definitely committed to, as you are, but you're much more well-equipped to serve our veterans here in Arlington, but we'll always be a resource for you, and I'll certainly be available, and sometimes the best thing I can do is let you do your job and I stay out of it. So I do appreciate that, and welcome and thank you.
Thank you so much.
Mr. DeCoursey?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Donovan, welcome to Arlington, and thank you for your service. And I, along with my other members, as I said, very sorry for your recent loss, but I appreciate you telling us about your background and the unique experience that you bring, particularly with respect to mental health issues. So looking forward to seeing you here in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for joining us, and we look forward to working with you. All right. That takes us to item number 2 on our agenda for approval of sale dated June 14th, 2026 of $1,307,000 water bond to the Massachusetts Water Resources Authority. Do we have Lynn Gallagher?
Mr. Chair, this will be what I hope to be a quick agenda item, so I was going to take it this evening. I do want to make one administrative note on the agenda item, as it says approval of sale dated June 14th. That actually should read sale for June 1st. So, as noted in the title, this is our annual no-interest loan from the Massachusetts Water Resources Authority. This year, it will be in the amount of $1,307,000. We will repay MWRA in 10 equal installments of $130,700 each, with the first installment scheduled for May 15 of 2027. So again, we're setting this sale date for June 1st, and we expect the funds to be distributed on June 4th. So this work, fortunately, will support the final phase of water system improvements on Pleasant Street. So it will pick up where we left off on Irving Street and continue down to Mass Ave, though the beginning phase of work, which is gearing up to start on or about June 1st, we're actually going to mobilize first to the intersection of Mass, Pleasant, and Mystic Street, and we're going to conduct that work during the overnight hours, given its location, but then work backwards to a normal construction schedule for the duration of the project along Pleasant Street. So, again, grateful to have this opportunity from the MWRA that will give us a no-interest loan to complete some very important water system improvement work along this route. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Feeney. With that, I'll turn to the board. Mrs. Mahan?
I'd like to make a motion to move favorable action for water bond in the amount of $1,307,000 for distribution of funds in June of 2026. And I have one question. Is that appropriate, or should I say June 4th, 2026?
Your motion was perfect, Mrs. Mahan.
Isn't he nice? And then I just have one question. I'm doing this from memory, so if I could, Mr. Chair. I understand you said it starts in June. I have a memory in going through the 16 or 17 pages that this project was of May to November. So does that mean it's now a June to December, or are we still hoping November, or is November we're really adding extra time? It could be October.
The intention is still to finish in November.
November.
Of course, we'll see what happens when they start digging in the ground, but usually we do not want to still be opening the roads in December.
Okay, and then the last question, as you know, Mr. Chair and my colleagues, it came up at town meeting regarding Pleasant Street. And I think you said there were 3 phases, and this is phase 2. So there's possibly a phase 3, so that I should not be telling people that when this project finishes in November, that don't worry, you'll get repaid Pleasant Street in the spring because there's a phase 3, or no?
This will conclude the town's water work. Where there is likely to be 3 phases is with National Grid's gas main relay, and we're working with them to see if they may be able to expedite additional work this current season, but they're going to be working concurrently at sort of the closer to Route 2 while we're working closer to Mass Ave. So we're trying to get as much of the contracted work done as possible so that we can get towards what we'll call the light at the end of the tunnel, where we can do, final paving and pavement markings and be done with Pleasant Street for hopefully all of our respective tenures.
Be careful what you say. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I know someone sitting in proximity to you that will really appreciate that.
Second.
All right. We have a motion to approve by Mrs. Mahan, seconded by Mr. Corsi. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? It's a unanimous vote. Brings us to item number 3 on the agenda. We have a comprehensive plan endorsement. We have Claire Ricker, our Director of Planning and Community Development.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Welcome.
That's your plan.
Thank you. So good evening. Again, I'm Claire Ricker. I'm the Director of Planning and Community Development, and I'm here this evening to present the Arlington Comprehensive Plan update for endorsement. I introduced this project to you, the Select Board, in August of 2024, at the very beginning of the planning process, where we went over the definition of a comprehensive plan, as well as the topic areas and elements the plan is required to address by state statute, which is MGL Chapter 41, Section 81D. Next slide. As a refresher, very generally, a comprehensive plan is a blueprint to guide local government in achieving the community's vision. It provides a basis for decision-making about long-term physical development of the community. Next slide. The comprehensive plan update includes the following components addressing several state-required topic areas. Specifically, it includes a vision and goals for the future, an implementation plan, and then in the topic areas, it has land use, including zoning, economic development, housing, circulation and connectivity or transportation, historic and cultural resources, natural resources and open space, and public and facilities and services. Next. Tonight, I'm going to walk you through the comprehensive plan update project, including plan development and community engagement processes, as well as provide an overview of the plan update. Next, please. Over the past 18 months, DPCD worked closely with our planning consultant, Stantec, and the 13-member AMP-UP Advisory Committee on an extensive planning process, as you can see on this timeline, that included existing conditions and community visioning, topic exploration, plan development, and then adoption. On May 4th, the ARB voted to approve the updated comprehensive plan as the official guide for future growth and development of the town. By statute, the redevelopment board, acting in its capacity as the planning board, is the approving body for the comp plan. But what I'm hoping tonight is that the select board will vote to endorse and support this plan as well. Next. This effort was intentionally community-driven, with outreach occurring at every stage of the public planning process. Public engagement included workshops, focus groups, surveys, pop-up events, and outreach at community gatherings. Next, please. The level of participation in the plan update project was significant, with more than 6,000 website visitors, over 1,000 online contributors, thousands of map interactions and comments, and hundreds of survey responses. Next. We held 3 interactive in-person and hybrid public workshops, all at Arlington High School. We performed extensive outreach was done by DPCD staff and advisory committee members at events such as the Farmers Market, National Night Out, summer concerts and beer gardens, and Town Day 2025. We hosted 5 focus group discussions, and we maintained a project website with surveys and quick polls, an interactive map, meeting posters, and project documents, including all presentations, videos of the meetings, and other supporting items. Next. Again, the AMP-UP Advisory Committee played an especially active role in shaping and guiding the process, as well as supporting community engagement strategies like collecting the surveys, facilitating the focus groups, and attending and participating in project events. Next. In March, the draft plan was published online, and a draft plan open house was held. Throughout the development of the draft plan via community outreach efforts and the guidance of the AMP-UP Committee, strong community consensus emerged around several topic areas such as economic development, connectivity and transportation, historic and cultural resources, and public facilities and services. Not surprisingly, land use and housing generated the greatest range of diverse opinions. Many residents supported additional housing choices and increased density in appropriate location. Many others emphasized preserving existing neighborhood character in single-family areas. Another recurring theme was balancing development with open space preservation. These conversations reflect the real challenges that communities face as they plan for future growth and change. Arlington is not unique in this dichotomy. Community members also emphasized the importance of thoughtful design standards to help new development fit within neighborhood context. Next. The comprehensive plan is intended to guide future decisions, but it is not meant to be a static document. The implementation process will continue to evolve over time, and continued community input and changing conditions will help shape future priorities and actions. Next. The comprehensive plan is organized into 3 major sections. The first section establishes the vision, summarizes engagement, and identifies major trends. The second section outlines goals and strategies across the topic areas. The final section focuses on implementation and next steps. Next. One important takeaway is that all of the topic areas are interconnected. Decisions related to housing, transportation, sustainability, economic development, and public facilities all influence one another. Nothing is happening in a vacuum. Next. 2 themes consistently emerge throughout the planning process, including supporting equity and diversity and integrating sustainability and resilience. These themes are woven throughout all of the recommendations and strategies in the plan. Next. The vision statement builds upon the foundation that was established in the 2015 master plan. It updates that vision to reflect current community priorities and emerging challenges. The goal is to create a framework that supports long-term community vitality, resilience, and opportunity. I'm going to read the vision. Arlington strives to be a welcoming town that supports a diverse population and a variety of housing options, fosters thriving business districts and vibrant neighborhoods, protects the natural environment, and encourages a strong shared sense of community and civic involvement. Next, I have several topic area talking points, but I think in the interest of time, I may just hit some highlights here. So if you could do next. For land use, we know Arlington has a limited amount of land, so making thoughtful planning decisions is especially important, and zoning will continue to be one of the town's most important implementation tools. Next. The plan calls for a more strategic and coordinated approach to economic development. Key recommendations there include streamlining and permitting the regulatory processes. The plan also emphasizes placemaking strategies to strengthen Arlington's business districts and commercial centers. Next. Housing was one of the most actively discussed topics throughout the plan update process. Recommendations include allowing a broader range of housing types and increasing housing diversity. The housing strategies are closely connected to Arlington's climate and sustainability goals. The plan also focuses on identifying reliable funding sources for affordable housing, and there is also support for expanding opportunities for accessory dwelling units. Next, improving safety and connectivity for all users was a major priority. The plan supports adopting a Vision Zero policy to eliminate pedestrian and bicycle fatalities. The overnight parking ban generated a range of perspectives because of its relationship to housing and economic development goals. And the plan also supports expanded advocacy for improved MBTA transit service. Next. The plan recognizes the importance of Arlington's historic and cultural identity. There is a strong emphasis on preserving historic buildings and integrating public art throughout the community. Recommendations include updating the arts and culture plan and improving marketing and communication efforts. Next, please. Arlington continues to prioritize sustainability and climate resilience. The plan also emphasizes water quality improvements, open space preservation, and strengthening the urban tree canopy. Next. The plan supports continued progress towards Arlington's net zero goals. It also highlights the need to address athletic field demand and maintenance challenges. Modernizing town facilities to support greater flexibility and public use is another important recommendation. Next. The implementation chapter identifies lead town departments and partner departments, committees, boards, and organizations to implement each strategy. Initial priorities and timelines have been established while recognizing that conditions and funding opportunities may change over time. Next. Some strategies are already underway, but others may require town meeting action or zoning amendments or additional funding sources. Successful implementation will depend on continued collaboration between town staff, boards, committees, and the community. Next. In conclusion, a comprehensive plan is a document designed to guide the future of a community. It is the expression of a community's goals and recommended strategies to achieve those goals. A comprehensive plan provides continued guidance for decision-making and focuses on immediate and long-range enhancement, growth, and development. Ultimately, a comprehensive plan helps ensure that decisions made today are grounded in a long-term vision that reflects community values, supports sustainable growth, and enhances quality of life for current and future generations. Thank you.
Thank you for the very efficient presentation. Sorry to sneak you in here before town meeting starts.
Yeah.
Mrs. Mahan?
I'd like to make a motion for favorable support of the AMP comprehensive plan.
Second that.
All right.
And if I
Do you have a
may?
question?
Yes.
Yes.
Started reading it on Friday. I got through the whole 212 pages, but I'll be honest, I speed read it. So, and I will take the time, Article 53 dominated a lot of my weekend, so.
Sure.
And some of my colleagues may have been able to commit more time to it than I did. Just so you know what because I know, as you said, it's not a static document, it's moving forward, things will have to go to town meeting,
Yes.
bylaw, zoning changes. I was hoping to see more pro-business steps, outreach, and action items. I don't see it in there. I see it for small business. There's on the one that, but I don't see any of that there. Moving forward, I would really like to see more in-person engagement. I know there were 3. One at the high school had 35, according to the consultant report, 35 people there, 200 in total. And then And I understand the pop-ups at the farmer's market and things like that, but to me, that's, people are there to shop, you know, use their WIC, which is now a new thing to do down there. And I understand, you know, about online engagement and things like that, but I'd like to see more engagement with residents. And I did, from the three in-person public events that we had, I only got comments on two, one from the high school, one from here, I believe, in Town Hall. I don't know where the third one was. And I forwarded it to the manager and to the planning director, but I don't think I forwarded it to my colleagues on the redevelopment board. And I apologize, but I had gotten about 6 or 7 people that felt when they were breaking down into the forum groups, and you probably know this because I forwarded it on, that when they were giving their suggestions, the person who was the note taker in charge of doing that wasn't putting down what they said, was putting down, I know I forwarded these emails on, and I'd like that not to happen in the future. Because people said to me, we felt like, you know, we went there, and whether it was the town or the consultant, but most people just see it as the town, that we were doing this, giving our time, and then, you know, I said, I think, you know, I like dogs and cats, and the thing that would go up from their thing would be, they like birds, you know. They gave examples like that, and I forwarded that on to you all. And whether that happened or not, that is what people left, and it was 6 or 7 people. So I'd like to get a handle on that, if you could, moving forward, whether it's town staff or a consultant moving forward, to say, and I've dealt with it, and my colleagues are, when you ask for input, just take it all, and you know, and if somebody doesn't say something that you think is really helpful, it can always be added in at the end, and I would just put added by members of the redevelopment board, added by Big Mouth Mahan, added by, you know, UTEL consultant. So I'm just concerned about, and just because, and if you want, on the next override, I'll take any of you with me to go door to door with people, so you can try to sell the thing. But like what I said about Article 53 tonight, the one resounding thing I heard was business development. And they understand we're not going to be a 60, 70, maybe even 80%. So 20% business development. But they want to, old timers said to me, since the 60s, I've been hearing from the planning department, they're going to increase business development. It hasn't happened. Can you do like one, can you move the needle like 1 to 2% a year? So I'd like to see more business development, more interaction with the businesses. Not that I'm against small business. I'm a 1099 employee, work one room out of my house. I'm a small business myself. But definitely more engagement moving forward with the public. But I'm happy to, as I said, make that motion for favorable support. And I do want to say, I do appreciate, there's an awful lot of hours in here, and meetings, and online surveys, and information that the AMP-UP committee, the redevelopment board, the planning department and planning director had to gather, disseminate, evaluate, and put into this 212-page document. So I want you to know I've read it, and other people have too. I'm not saying anyone else hasn't read it. So please don't take that. Just, you know, this is my chance to add something. And I would love to say I'll join you in the effort moving forward, but I think you would probably rather not have me there necessarily because I'm busy doing this. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Mr. Sullivan?
Real quick, maybe a slightly different view. I had the chance to sit down with a small business owner in Arlington on Monday for lunch who said that the ease of permitting was one of the biggest issues that he had.
Okay.
So I see that in the plan here, so I think some good things did come out of it.
Yeah.
I'm happy to endorse it tonight.
Great, thank you.
Mr. Corsi?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, and thank you, Ms. Ricker, for the presentation, for the members of the AMP-UP committee that are here, Mr. Law from the redevelopment board. And I think, you know, one of the challenges here, you have the different areas that by statute you have to address in the comprehensive plan. And some of them, as you say in your introduction, have to give way to another. So that's where you look at a challenge that might be an area that you're really interested in, or as an individual, and it may be at odds with something else, and that's the balancing act that takes place over the next 10 years. One comment that about an item that I didn't see in this plan that was very prevalent in the last plan was the Mugar property. And even if that is developed, okay, so that's only 5 out of 17 acres. I didn't see anything in there about the open space. It's the 12 acres, and we still don't know what's going to happen in that property, but you saw that over and over again. So I don't think the town's view has changed in terms of the need for the open space, certainly for the 12 acres. Those of us who hope it's all 17 in the future, but I'll separate that. But that to me seemed like something that when you look from one plan to the next, it was mentioned over a dozen times in 2015.
plan.
Here it's one mention in the historical places section, among others. So just to comment on that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Elman?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to briefly echo my colleagues' remarks about the permitting. I know that when I first joined the Select Board, one of my mentors, Dan Dunn, said to me that one of the biggest challenges the town had was streamlining permitting, and it is a really hard problem. There's a lot of red tape and a lot of requirements, so we're swimming upstream, and that's not a complaint other than to say I'm really glad that those of you who put this together identified that as a real barrier and opportunity for economic development and for supporting businesses. And I just want to thank, I see people in the room who are deeply involved. Rebecca was on the advisory committee. Sarah was part of the staff. Ken led the ARB through this. I don't think I know how much work this was, but I know it was a lot. And I know that it was done for love of this community. It was a lot of hard work. It is not easy to grapple with issues, particularly housing, particularly with how we support businesses, and get everybody on the same page, because people have different visions for the town. And I think if you do this process right, you identify what those big picture issues are, because you have to plan for them. You have to know what the levers are to keep Arlington a thriving community in the future. And this plan, if it's done right, it's not going to please everybody. It can't. But it is, and maybe that's not the point. It is, for me, a framework to understand what those big interconnected structural issues are. And I'm really pleased with the work. I'm really grateful for the work, and I look forward to reviewing it in more depth after
Great.
town meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You have to go down in a minute.
Motion approved by, or endorse?
Favorable,
Mrs.
no,
Mahan.
move favorable support.
Favorable support by Mrs. Mahan, seconded by Mr. Solomon.
Just a question, Mr. Chair. Do we need, is that a sufficient motion for the legal process here?
That's correct, to endorse and support. Oh, go ahead.
Endorse and support, so I said favorable
Thank you,
support.
Mr. Hurd. Either is appropriate in this case.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Unanimous vote.
Thank you very much.
That brings us to our consent agenda. The items 4 to 10 on our agenda that's posted on the town website. In the interest of time, I'm not going to read them, but they are listed for anyone to see what the items are.
Move approval?
Motion approved by Mrs. Mahan, seconded by
Second.
Mr. Helmuth. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That brings us to item number 11, installation of no U-turn signs on east side of Massachusetts Avenue. Mr. Town Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Hurd. Before the board this evening for consideration is a very sensible change to the town's traffic rules and orders, specifically Article 7, Section 10, that speaks to U-turns. We do have a new safety zone in East Arlington that we're looking to make a commensurate change to the traffic rules and orders to prohibit U-turns within that safety zone section. So the requested language is before the board for their consideration this evening, as well as in the agenda is a copy of what would be the updated traffic rules and orders if this change is approved. So what this would permit the town to do is place signage as necessary along the route, and would allow the police department to enforce specifically for this particular infraction, which is found to be very dangerous in that area of town. And I know you have a detailed memo that hopefully makes the request here self-explanatory, but we're seeking your support this evening to make this change so that we can then place the signs that will permit increased enforcement and hopefully improved traffic safety in East Arlington. Thank you.
Mrs. Mahan?
I'd like to move approval to our traffic rules and orders, Article 7, operation of vehicles, Section 10, U-turns.
We have a motion to approve by Mrs. Mahan, seconded by Mr. Solomon. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? It's a unanimous vote, and I should note for the record that Mr. Helmuth went down to fill our duties to open town meeting. All right, we have item number 12, town manager contract renewal process. Mr. Feeney?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Hurd. So all we're hoping to accomplish with this agenda item tonight is for the board to determine which members will be involved specifically in that process, so we can sort of work towards an updated employment agreement for myself to begin on what I believe will be August 4th.
Yep. And we don't need a motion for that, right? So it will be myself, and I've asked Mr. DeCoursey to loop in with me on that.
Okay.
So, he's a much tougher negotiator than me. All right. Correspondence received, removal of no parking signs on Dudley Street. Charles Piggott, Piggott Electric Company, Inc. Ms. Mahan?
I'd like to move receipt and refer to the town manager and board administrator, and not TAC, correct?
Right.
Thank you.
We have a motion to receive by Mrs. Mahan, seconded by
Second.
Mr. DeCoursey. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Unanimous vote. New business.
No new business, thank you, Mr. Hurd.
Briefly, Mr. Chair, I do have new business. I wanted to announce the hiring of a new deputy town council, workers' compensation agent for the town of Arlington. Very, very happy to bring on Christopher Blake. He is a graduate of Bard College and Duquesne University School of Law. He's coming to Arlington from the city of Lowell, where he oversaw the city's workers' compensation division, but also worked extensively on land use, contracts, litigation, labor matters, regulatory compliance, all matters that he'd be expected to work on when he comes here to the town of Arlington. He's also worked in the city's bankruptcy and debt collection practice and working with the treasurer, so he's got a decent breadth of experience in municipal government, and we'll be very much looking forward to welcoming him. I wanted to thank Human Resources Director Karen Malloy and her team for their extensive search. I want to thank those who are involved in the committee, specifically Chief Kelly and Rob Spiegel from the school department, as well as the town manager who spent time on this. I really appreciate critical input from the managers who was essential in the process.
No new business. Thank you.
Mr. Solomon?
No new business.
Mrs. Mahan?
Just briefly, as we all know, there's an opening on the redevelopment board, where Eugene Benson, I believe, was the only attorney we had on the redevelopment board. Not that person needs to be an attorney, but, and I know we've all received and have been sending out, I've been having personal conversations, but it's May 31st. If for some reason someone's watching this and is interested, you can go to the town website, contact the select board's office, have till May 31st. We'll keep working on that. Thank you.
Mr. DeCoursey?
No new business.
All right, and my only new business is we have a proclamation that did not get on our agenda, but this week is National Public Works Week. So I'm going to read this proclamation with Ms. Ricker's quickness of pace. Whereas Public Works professionals focus on infrastructure, assets, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to public health, quality of life, and well-being of the people of the town of Arlington. And whereas the essential services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals at all levels of government, who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our roads, water and sewer infrastructure, parks and playgrounds, tree canopy, vehicle fleet, and who are often on call 24/7 to provide essential services for our residents. And whereas it is in the public interest for residents, civic leaders, and children in the town of Arlington to gain knowledge of and maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works in town. And whereas the year 2026 marks the 66th annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the town of Arlington designates the week of May 17th to 23rd, 2026 as National Public Works Week. I urge all residents to pay tribute to our public works staff and to recognize the substantial contributions they make every day to protecting and advancing quality of life for all in Arlington. With that, we'll take a motion.
I'd like to move to adjourn and reconvene in town meeting in open session.
Second.
Motion to adjourn and reconvene in town meeting by Mrs. Mahan, seconded by Mr. Corsi. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Unanimous vote.
Sorry.